Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
From Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Richard Buzz Smith with a pep talk on EVs. Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll bring you stories making automotive news headlines this week. All of that coming up. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin, Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday for our live program. If you're listening on a podcast, we thank you for listening and choosing the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Well, look what the cat drug in.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, there he is. The Mike Love of EVs is Richard Buzz Smith. Did I nail it?
You nailed it.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah. Did I throw you for a loop when I said Mike Love? I mean, you look.
Yeah.
Look.
You look beachy.
I thought he looks like the Beach Boys, Mike Love.
He does.
Yeah. So obviously you can sing and dance.
No.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it looks like you can. How have you been, my friend?
It's been challenging here lately, say since about, January 20th.
Uh-oh.
Yeah? And why is that?
The government seems to be going anti-EV all of a sudden, so my job just got a lot harder.
I don't know as if I would say anti-EV. I think that it would be more along the lines of putting EVs on par with gasoline motors, and now you select what you want.
Well, you've always been able to select what you want. And in fact, Chevrolet, the Equinox EV and the Equinox gasoline-powered vehicles are being offered at the same price. So we're at price parity. The whole purpose of those incentives is not to make you buy an EV, but it's to help the U.S. auto industry. China is coming, and they're coming hard. And right now, even Elon Musk, Farley out of Ford, they'll all tell you our automotive industry will be crushed if we don't catch up. And so incentivizing EVs is a way to help the industry catch up because we're behind in this game. Absolutely. There's a Chinese EV from BYD that's $10,000 in China. Now, coming to the United States with a 100% tariff, it'd be a $20,000 EV. Now, think about that, though. How many $20,000 cars that are great cars can you go out and buy right now? And this is one that they're shopping for land in Mexico if they haven't already bought it. They're shopping for land in Canada. They just signed lithium mining rights in Brazil. The Chinese say, we're not going for the American market. We're doing all this.
Right, yeah.
In Mexico and Ecuador. Yeah, give me a break. They are coming for us. And, my job now is to talk to elected officials about why we need to keep this industry strong. And here's something that seems to resonate. The atomic bomb did not win World War II. It ended it.
Right.
What won World War II was United States manufacturing power. The fact that our automotive industry can start turning out military vehicles, our civilian aircraft industry started turning out, B-29s. That's the strength of this country. And we are on the verge of handing that business over to the Chinese, who at this time is our number one trade adversary and possibly our number one adversary, period, on the planet. So we are fundamentally making a mistake when we stop installing the EV charging network that was funded by the NEVI program, when we start when we stop having the incentive for these vehicles. We are handing a national security interest over to our adversary.
I want to talk to you about the EV charging network.
Well, just before you do that, I had a question for Mike about that Denali.
Yes.
One thing you did not mention is, does that vehicle have vehicle-to-grid or vehicle-to-home capabilities? And anytime you review an EV going forward, that's something, especially in Texas, that's critical for people to know.
Well, in 4 minutes, I can't cover everything. I could turn that into a good 30-minute talk because there's a lot of stuff on that vehicle to talk about. So you're right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things on there that somebody is looking for. They need to really check into that.
But here in Texas, where we have a shaky grid that's kind of an embarrassment in front of the nation, a lot of people think that EVs are adding a strain to the grid. They're not. They're actually bringing down the price of electricity for all of us, because you pay for the infrastructure that you built to send that electricity out to the home 24 hours a day. But you get past about midnight to 6 a.m., right in that window, and people's electricity use just plummets because they're all in bed.
Right.
They're not running their oven. They're not running their, dryer. They're not doing things that are energy intensive. And so one of the reasons the electric companies really want EVs to proliferate is that they can now sell energy at night when people are at home charging, and lots of it. And so that brings down the cost of infrastructure that all of us are paying, keeps the cost of electricity a little lower. And I attended the Texas Energy Summit in the state capitol again this year. And one of the frightening things I saw is this state has to almost double our electricity generation ability within the next, I think it was 6 years. We've been building the electric grid in this state for over 100 years. In 6 years, we've got to double it as far as the energy it can generate.
Well, I don't know what to tell you on that. I will tell you that what I have seen out there when I fly overhead, that the power generating company here in town, that they are upgrading, like for instance, the coal-fired plant that's not too far from Sugar Land, Texas, that is basically now gas-fired. And not gasoline, I'm talking about natural gas. Yeah. And there's another one that's right down the street from me. We're kind of in between two, out there on South Main Street at Hiram Clark. That also is basically a brand new facility. It was at one time coal, and in the years past it was gas-fired. Well, they've replaced all those gas-fireds with new gas-fireds, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to replace all of those. At least it does with this company. And I think that as far as power generation is concerned, generation itself I don't think is too big of a problem, because there's still a large import of coal at the port of Houston. Again, I fly over that and see that every day, and they're moving coal in and out of there. I think that the biggest problem is the infrastructure part of it.
Distribution.
And as far as EVs are concerned, I obviously have been through a month of EVs. Now, what I have done is change my mind and thinking. And instead
of trying, shocked him. He just fell off his chair.
And instead of trying to find a fast charger, I've given up on that, because that is a total waste of time. I don't care what the car says. It doesn't tell me what Whole Foods fast charger EV go down the street is doing. Mm-hmm. It says there's one there. Doesn't tell me that it's working. Yeah, the damn thing hasn't worked in a year. I just went down there this past week to get a fast charge. Nothing. So I relegated my charging to the 110 outlet at work and the 110 outlet here at the house. And as long as I don't go and drag down all of the battery, then I can make it for the entire week. That's 60 miles a day, 30 miles there. And generally speaking, if I plug it in for 8 hours at work, I get my 30 miles back. Same thing here. Plug it in, overnight I got another 30 miles. I cannot say that with the truck. Now, the truck had a huge battery in it, and it took a lot longer to charge the truck than it did the cars that I've had.
Right.
Did you experience that yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I tried to give the car back to the manufacturer this week, the truck. And I will tell you that this is my gripe about the EV go down here at the Whole Foods. I tried to get a fast charge, so the guy didn't have to really scramble to try to find a fast charger. And clearly he does it all the time. I don't do it all the time. And I went down there, and it's broken still. And it's got a paper handwritten sign out of order. That's never worked. The past year and a half, it's not worked. The last time I found a fast charger, I went from Hobby Airport, where I work, over to Pasadena to get a fast charger, brand new, worked like a champ. 30 minutes later, I got 80% charge. I'm good to go. I'm a happy camper. But I had to drive from Hobby Airport over to Pasadena. Took me an hour to go over there, charge it, and drive back. And I know you. I know that you're a big champion of EVs. Oh, well, I've made the trip around Texas by the chargers that are out there. Nobody does that I know except for you. If I'm going to go to Austin, I want to know where I can charge it one time along the way so I can get to Austin and not spend more time than 5 minutes, which I would at a gasoline pump, pumping gas, and be on my way.
Well, like I said, on the one I had, because of the range on it, I wasn't used to having something that actually
could make it here.
That could do what the range said, because normally if it says 260, 270 miles, I can't do the 225-mile round trip.
Right.
Because the way I drive, with the headlights on, wipers, dark, all the things that go along with it, it just uses up more of the battery power than it would typically use. I don't get to go that whole 300 miles if the range is 300 miles. It just doesn't work. So I wish I would have had enough faith in that truck to try that. But that's the problem. I don't. Normally, if I drive an EV, that 225-mile trap here, I have to stop before I get home, and I spend 45 minutes to an hour charging it.
So the rundown on the big screen in that truck gave me probably, I'm guessing, I didn't count them, at least 30 places to charge it, Buzz. And one of them, it kept coming up with the same one. And apparently Shell, somewhere around here, has a plug-in.
Yeah, multi-port.
And good for them, I could never find it.
Yeah.
It came up and it said it's here. I drove around the thing. I couldn't find it. I hear where you're coming from. I know that you're an advocate of the EV thing, and I'm not trying to put you down. I'm not trying to put anybody down. Some of the EV people that I know that have EVs, they love them. It works for them. And my prophecy is going to be that, if you have a network that you can go and you get your groove on, and you know where the charging stations are, and you know where you're going, and you can do it in a quick, easy manner, all for it. But for me personally, not owning one and not having your knowledge of where the stations are and
how to find them with the computer.
Yeah. It's difficult for me. And if it's difficult for me, I'm going to think that it's difficult for the regular guy.
Well, let's help them.
Okay. Well,
that's why we're here. That's why we're talking.
Okay. You got about 5 minutes to do it.
Okay. Plugshare.com is a great website for finding the chargers. There are reviews there to tell you if it's down all the time. It'll tell you how much you pay per kilowatt hour. So you can actually price compare before you ever leave home.
And what's it called?
Plugshare.com.
Okay.
They have an app for your phone as well. And another one that I really like for planning long distance trips is called a Better Route Planner. So do a Google on a Better Route Planner. I think it's abrp.com or something like that. But it is an excellent planning tool. I used that for that Colorado trip when we went on vacation. And it predicted when I would arrive at the charger, plus or minus 10 minutes all the way to Colorado and back. It would predict how long I would need to charge. And sometimes it was just a 10-minute charge. A Better Route Planner won't have you fill the battery up every time you stop. It knows where your next stop is too. So it'll get you to that next stop. So it's a really, really great tool for doing your driving. Another thing and I've invested in this myself. Now I have a Tesla, and so I've got an excellent charging network. But in case I get to an area where there's not a Tesla charger, I bought the CCS to Tesla adapter for my car so that I can, it's like I pull up, if there is not a Tesla and it's a CCS charger, I just slap this thing onto the charger and then plug it into my car. Works just fine. And if you guys are going to be reviewing a lot of EVs, invest in one of these the other way around, because almost all the American manufacturers have access to the Tesla network now. So what you need is a CCS or a Tesla to, or NACS is the Tesla standard, NACS to CCS adapter And then anywhere you go, if there's a Tesla charger, you could plug in there. And I'll tell you, that charging network is excellent. And when you're heading to Austin, there's a great Buc-ee's right off of I-10 on the way to Austin that probably has 35 chargers. They're all Teslas. And if you had that adapter, it opens the world up to you. I think the biggest installation of chargers at a Buc-ee's is 53 DC fast chargers at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, the power plant is right behind it, right?
They have a nuclear reactor
on site. Yeah, because even the Buc-ee's on Interstate 10 in Baytown's got chargers.
If I'm really interested in an EV and I'm stupid like me, what would be a good source to go to and go, okay, I can put in this information, or there's information on there about my driving habits, or I can drill it down to kind of get to what my driving habits are, where church is, the grocery store, work, weekend stuff that I do, that I know where these places are, whether they're working or not. I can find out how much I should pay for an EV without going crazy as far as price is concerned. What's that website?
Those two websites and adapters are the best ones for that.
Okay.
They'll show exactly where the chargers are. Now, another thing is we've entered a whole new world. I mean, we're now where the average EV out there has at least 250 miles of range. There's a lot that are getting into 300, 350 mile range. And as Mike mentioned earlier, sometimes in the 400s. You don't really need to worry anymore. We do need to continue the NEVI program that stands for National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure. It was part of the IRA, if I remember correctly, or it might have been the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But that program needs to keep going, because right now in Texas, we are seeing brand new EV fast chargers just popping up on the interstates every 50 miles. And the great thing about the NEVI program addresses exactly what your pain is, Don. They don't get paid if they don't stay up 99% of the time. So the government doesn't give them the money in advance, hoping that they'll make good charging networks. They tell them, yeah, we'll give you this money if you meet these criteria. And a lot of it is performance and maintenance criteria. So they've got to keep the chargers up and running 99% of the time, or they don't get paid. So they're really focused on the NEVI chargers and keeping them up and running. Now, unfortunately, TxDOT had to submit a plan to the government. It was recognized as one of the best plans from any state. And so we're rolling these chargers out, and TxDOT is doing it in 5 phases. The first phase is every 50 miles along the major interstates. So that's happening right now, and a lot of the stations are already funded, even though they haven't been built yet, but they're under construction. Phases 2 through 5 are for rural areas. So every county in the state of Texas will have a bank of DC fast chargers able to service both CCS vehicles, which is everybody except the old Nissans and Mitsubishis, American cars, Tesla cars, foreign cars. So these things will have both plugs on them, and there'll be at least one bank of them in every county in Texas, usually at the county seat, because that'll be where the major highways cross in the county.
Buzz, we could talk to you for an hour, and we could take up a whole show. Well, you could.
You could. Now, one thing, Tom, for your home, please put in a 240-volt outlet, like a dryer outlet, in your garage. Get you a level 2 charger. I paid $250 for mine on eBay. It was brand new. It was labeled Mercedes, but brand new, never been used. I've got 2 of them. They're portable chargers, so I can unplug them from that outlet, take them on the road with me. So if I get in an area like, let's say, Big Bend, where there aren't any chargers, all I've got to do is find an RV park or a trailer park and go in and plug into their outlet.
Perfect. Right. Interesting.
What's your website?
Actually, I'm going to send you to our organization's website now instead of my personal one. The Texas EV Alliance is TXEV for TexasEV.org. We're a nonprofit. If you're driving an EV today, the state government is seriously looking at increasing your registration from a $200 over what other cars pay to a $300 over what everybody else is paying. Now, we all want to pay our fair share for maintaining the roads, but that's way off kilter, and it's regardless of how many miles you drive. Well, I don't have a voice in the legislature if I don't have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 members backing me up. And there are over 300,000 EV drivers in the state of Texas right now. If you're an EV driver, please join us by going to txev.org.
Buzz, it's great to talk to you. Thank you, my friend. We'll catch you on the backside, okay?
To hear from you again soon. I love talking to you guys.
Thank you very much. You too. Coming up, Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and I'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Thanks for joining us on the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Back after this.
The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Hey, we hope you'll join us on the upcoming Hot Rod Tour of Texas, beginning April 24th down in Victoria. You'll get all the latest from the tour all weekend long that we are on it. Thanks for joining us today here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Right now, Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars.
Here we go. This is for next Saturday, the 22nd. You got Cavalry's Car Show. The Cavalry's Car Show is set to take place on February 22nd from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at 1201 Austin Street in Richmond, Texas. This event invites car enthusiasts to admire and display incredible vehicles. Interested in participating, you can register at 8 a.m. There's a $25 fee per car, and awards will be given. Again, that's at 1201 Austin Street, Richmond, Texas, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Let the good times roll car show and fun. I like that. You like that too, Mike. Mark your calendars for Let the Good Time Rolls car show and fun. We did.
Night.
We got fun last night. Set to take place in Baytown, Texas, Mike, right around the corner from you.
Yeah.
The family-friendly event will run from noon to 4, which is a little bit longer at afternoon. It's a cool event. An exciting Mardi Gras atmosphere. Attendees can enjoy a live car show, numerous vendors, barbecue plates, bounce house, which you like, face painting, Don likes that, and king cake. Who doesn't like a king cake?
I like the bounce house with the rubber pads in it.
Live music will add to the festive mood, ensuring a delightful experience for all ages. Again, that's at 5225 Interstate 10 in Baytown, Texas. Then, for Sunday, you got the weekly car meetup in where? Willis, Texas.
What you talking about,
I'm telling
Willis?
you what, it's at the D&M True Value, 400 West Montgomery Street. It goes starts at 3 p.m., so be there. Now, the road tour that we're taking, obviously, Hot Rod Tour of Texas, we've been talking about that. I got my hotel arrangements done.
So are you going to be staying at my hotel?
I'm going to be staying at your hotel, but we're in the honeymoon suite. I requested that, so
just you and me.
Yeah, Mike volunteered, and then we got
sick.
Then we got Granbury coming up in June, but filter some things in there in between. We can't button anything down yet. Mike's got working on some stuff. We're working on it, so there we go.
Thank you. 30-day delay on 25% U.S. tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports came as a relief to automakers and suppliers who fear that could lead to higher costs and idled factories. But the threat of tariffs still looms, and the future of North American free trade remains as murky as it has been since the passage of the North American Free Trade Agreement in 1992. As a result, automakers and suppliers are pumping the brakes on major spending decisions until they get a better sense of how the trade rules will settle out. You know that they're working on that every stinking day. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether you saw this or not, but Chevrolet introduced its Blazer EV.R NASCAR prototype ahead of this year's running of the Daytona 500. The Blazer EV-R is an example of Chevrolet continuing to test, learn, and explore new technologies, blah, blah. The prototype delivers over 1,300 horsepower from 3 6-phase electric motors that instantly rev up to 15,000 RPM, powered by a 78 kilowatt per hour liquid-cooled battery. Built on NASCAR's next-gen chassis and suspension componentry, the Blazer EV.R puts its power to the pavement via a programmable all-wheel drive system. GM Design worked together with motorsports engineers to give the Blazer EV.R styling features inspired by the Blazer EV.SS production vehicle. Why don't we ever get that?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, it's a prototype, they said.
No, there's the Blazer SS production vehicle is what they said.
Oh.
Chevrolet also paced the 67th Daytona 500 Sunday, February 16th with the Blazer EV SS, a 615 horsepower vehicle that can go 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds with wide open watts, making it the quickest SS model Chevrolet ever produced. Wide open watts.
Wow. That's
figure. That's the wow. Yeah. Wide open watts.
So, by the way, George sent a link to the Sugarland Shell charging station for you.
Yeah. That's the one I couldn't find.
Yeah.
But that's okay, George. Maybe you can come down here and find it for us.
So
Take it by the hand.
With the NASCAR, that car right there, you got the fuel guy with the canister. He dumps it.
No, there's none of that.
Okay. But is it going to run with a helmet on and plug it in?
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work.
No, they'll do a battery change or something.
So they're going to have all that Sunoco top racing fuel gas, and then they're going to have a charger there, too.
I don't know how it's going to work, but I think that you're right. From what I read, it's a battery change, and it will become so fast it'll be like the tires.
Yeah, I think
drive over it,
E
the battery drops out, you roll ahead a little bit, another battery's there, pop it in, and you're done.
Something to that effect.
That's what I know.
Some guy will be standing there with a 2x4 in case you get shot and knock you off.
And Rick Hendrick will buy it.
We'll be right back.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call, and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.
Well, that's it for this week's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Be sure and check us out online at InWheelTime.com. We like to look and talk about rides, too. And we'd love to see some pics of your ride. Please include as many details as you'd like, and we'll feature it on a future show. Send it to info@InWheelTime.com. Hey, when you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can find the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the In-Wheel Time app. On the road, grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider, including the new Sirius XM podcast channel, and be sure to catch us on the Odyssey radio app. We video stream our live show every Saturday, 10 to noon, on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In Real Time Video Technical Director is We Always Need More Jeff Zekin. The booking agent, video editor, and people finder, Mike Out of This World Mars, and chief engineer, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Hot Rod Tour of Texas rolls out of Victoria Friday, April 24th, and we hope you'll join us, or at least tune in. Details and links at inrealtime.com. Be safe out there and have a great week, and thanks again for tuning in to In Real Time.
That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.